Hi Shay Babes, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. I am officially 4 weeks postpartum. I have been keeping a baby alive for 4 whole weeks. I am a first-time mom. I am 25 years old, and for those of you who have been keeping up with my birth series, I had a all-natural birth, no medical intervention, no epidural, no Pitocin, none of that. And I was able to do an at-hospital water birth. So I kind of wanted to share with you guys, mostly women of color, anybody who's interested in having a natural birth, things that I did to successfully have my natural birth. This may not work for everybody. This is my story, but I thought it was important that I just inform you guys, because once I set my mind to having a natural birth, I did a lot of planning and research and exercising just to make sure that I got the results that I wanted. So I'm going to highlight 5 things that you need to do before thinking about having a natural birth, or not before thinking about having a natural birth, in order to start the process of potentially having a natural birth. The first thing you need to do is commit. If this is something that you really want to do, you have to mentally tell yourself there's no other option. There could be a plan B in case this does not work, but you don't want to get all the way up into a month or 2 before your due date and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm freaking out. I don't know if I want to do it. I'm nervous. All of this could happen. Like, you don't want to freak yourself out. So commit in your mind, commit physically, which means, doing certain mouth circuits, doing sitting certain ways, sleeping certain ways, just doing research on those, and I'll get more into that maybe in another video. But you really want to commit, because if you mentally commit, then I feel like the process itself will be much easier. So once you commit, make a budget, see what your insurance cover and won't cover. So for me, as I stated in one of my previous videos, my insurance didn't cover an at-home or an at-home midwife. So I ended up just doing a certified nurse midwife. So there are 2 different types of midwives. You can have a certified nurse midwife, or you can have a midwife who is just trained to be a midwife. A lot of insurance, I don't know if there are any insurance companies that do just regular trained midwives. Maybe you'll have to check, but most insurance companies do cover certified nurse midwives. So for me, I called my insurance carrier and I was like, hey, I want to have a midwife for my natural birth. Could you send me a list of midwives that are in network with you guys? Super easy. The representative also narrowed it down to like 30 midwives that were like 5 to 10 miles in my radius of my zip code. So that's something else that you want to do. Also, making a budget. If you don't have insurance, or if your insurance don't cover midwives, then I feel like a lot of midwives do payment plans. So make sure that it's something feasible. You don't want to just do it and it's not feasible. If you can't get a midwife, go ahead and get an OB-GYN or a primary care physician, or whoever that your insurance cover, because the one thing that you don't want to be worried about during your pregnancy is finances. How am I going to pay for this birth? How am I going to pay for these doctor visits? Like, you want to make sure that, like, the only thing that you're worried about is delivering a healthy baby and you staying healthy as well. So I would recommend, if your insurance don't cover it, try to figure out a payment plan. If there's no payment plan, then just kind of, work with your finances. You know what your finances look like, okay? I don't want to get too much into that. Also, after you commit, after you make a budget, go ahead and find and secure a midwife as well as a doula. Yes, get a doula. Get a doula. If you are planning to do an all-natural birth, 10 out of 10 recommend get a doula. From my experience, my doula knew a lot of the information that I did not know. And so if I didn't have her information leading up into my pregnancy, up into the day of my labor and delivery, I may have not been as successful. And that's God honest truth. Even though I did do a lot of outside research and things of that nature by following certain pages on Instagram and stuff like that, and kind of educating myself outside of just depending on one person or one aspect of my birth to kind of reveal itself. So that was something that I did. So after you commit, after you make a budget, and after you find a doula and a midwife, you want to go ahead and take those free birth education courses. I'm going to try to link the free education course that I took. It happens every month except for I think the month of December and January, or maybe just the month of December, and it's twice a week, Monday or Tuesday and Thursday for 3 hours. That's it. Tuesday and Thursday, 3 hours, 3 solid hours of virtual learning, and it's so informative. A lot of things that you didn't even think you could know, you're gonna find out. Different natural induction methods, your options at the hospital, things to put in your hospital bag, statistics, which is we all should know, and that's another video that I'm eventually going to get into because I'm learning the pattern of these doctors now, the inducing methods and these C-sections. I'm catching on. So birth education courses are very good for just getting informed. When you know your options, it's just much better experience because you know best, right? Nobody knows your body like you know your body. Nobody. Okay, so that was 1, 2, 3, 4. And the very last thing is, so a part of taking those birth education courses, go ahead and follow doulas, midwives, lactation consultants, different birthing pages, just to pretty much learn. Y'all, there is so much free information out there. If you can't afford a doula, if you can't afford a midwife, educate yourself, because you can still have a natural birth with having an OB-GYN. So don't completely exit those out, because at the end of the day, whether you have an OB-GYN or if you have a physician assistant, or if you have a primary care physician, you have a rights to your body, but you have to be informed in order to know your rights. Does that make sense? Okay, so know your rights. Very important, and there's so much information out here, y'all. So much free information. Like, that's the good thing about TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, everything. Like on Instagram, I'll link a few of my favorite pages. I have Mama Stay, A Working Mom, Serenity Life Doula, It Takes a Village. Who else do I follow? I will link them on the screen so that you guys can see them, but please go and follow these pages. If y'all don't follow these pages, follow somebody that you feel can help you. These pages helped out a lot, because a lot of the things, a lot of the information that we're giving was just in alliance with my birthing day, the things that me and my doula talked about, a lot of the stuff that I learned in the birthing education courses, and a lot of the stuff that you can really learn on YouTube. Also, you can pull up YouTube and learn a lot of what you pretty much can't afford. If you can't afford to take a birth education course, or if you don't have the time to sit there for 3 hours, do it on your own time. Schedule it out throughout the week or throughout like the day to figure out how you can educate yourself. And I would say start this as early as like you find out you're pregnant. Like, I started this because we moved from California to Texas while I was like 20 weeks. So I really started this at maybe like 22 weeks. I was really on it. I was like, okay, I'm gonna find my midwife, find my doula. I secured those within the same week. And then right after that, I was like, okay, let me figure out what else I need to do. So I followed pages, started doing certain things. You learn so much information that you didn't know. And so that way, when you do have appointments with your OB-GYN or your midwife, things that they may forget to tell you, you will already know. So you can really ask questions like, hey, I learned about a mouth circuit. When is the perfect time to start doing the mouth circuit? Oh, I learned about natural induction methods. When is the perfect time to start doing these induction methods? Those are questions that I wish I would have asked earlier on, just because I do feel like I started a little late in the game, which is probably why I went over 40 weeks. But then again, it's like you can go over 40 weeks and it not be a problem. But you still want to just know these things and be able to have questions for your primary care person during your pregnancy, so that you guys can both be on one accord. So now that we have those 4 things, I'm going to make this video super short. We have the last and final thing: make your birth plan. So what I did was, I didn't know much about natural birthing plans or none of this, because I was the first to ever really do a natural birth this extreme amongst my family and friends. So a lot of this I just kind of had to figure out on my own. So I googled a birth plan template. I'll try to link that here too. Birth plan template. it will literally tell you, like the template that I found pretty much told me like all the stuff that you pretty much need to say for a natural birth. This video in particular is for natural births at hospitals, but you can also have a natural birth at home. I can't speak to that because I didn't do it. So, but yes, this is like, I found the birth plan pretty much that will tell you how to take care of yourself at home. I mean, at a hospital. So it'll tell you whether you want eye ornament or no eye ornament, whether you want circumcision or no circumcision, whether you want to get vaccines or no vaccines. It'll tell you like all those certain things, and it'll give you a certain format. I did that, but I put it in my notes, and then my doula, I gave everything to my doula after we had like our meeting, and she put it in like this pretty format, and then we printed it out and gave it to the nurses and the midwife at the hospital. Simple. And that's pretty much like all that I did. And on top of that, I made sure that like I stayed active. I literally worked all the way up into 40 weeks. Once I made 40 weeks, I was like, okay, I'm done. The due date is here. I'm ready to have my baby. And then that last week stretch, I pretty much just worked out. I rested. I didn't work out a lot. I just did like a lot of 30-minute walks. I would do my curb walks. I would do my birthing ball exercises. I would do the mile circuit just to make sure that he was in position, that my body was getting ready to have a baby. Because as a first-time mom, your body doesn't really know what to do. So I kind of really spent that last week or so just mentally preparing myself, physically preparing myself, nesting and doing all of those things. So I hope that helped someone. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below or inbox me on any of my social media platforms, and I'll be sure to get back with you guys. Again, thank you so much for watching. Please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe.